when you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Yeah, because there for the longest time, I was losing hope. I was like, man, I'm just stuck. I'm one of the ones that won't ever be able to give this up.
Okay.
And your program made me do that.
Hi everyone, this is Nasia Davos and welcome to this episode of Ask an Ex. Every Ask an Ex episode features an inspiring ex-smoker who succeeded with the CBQ method and who shares their personal experience and unique perspective on quitting smoking. The ex I have with me today joined our CBQ program and quit smoking on September 16, 2021, and he's here to tell you how he did it. Please welcome Gary Richmond. Gary, thank you so much for being here and congratulations on quitting smoking over a year ago.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad I met the non-smoker sitting here.
Great. And so take me back. How did you start smoking? How much did you smoke? How was your habit?
I started smoking when I was 13 years old. It was my dad in the barn. He'd throw his cigarette butt out the door, and I thought it was, well, let me try this. And
Okay.
I got hooked over, and I smoked ever since I was 13 years old, and I'm 46 now. So yeah, 33 years I smoked.
Yeah. And so how come you decided to quit smoking?
Well, I wanted to quit over the years because of all the health effects that it had. I could tell I couldn't breathe like I used to be able to, that physical activities, I'd run out of breath. I didn't like because I had quit a couple of times, only but for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I knew what I smelled when I quit. I could tell other smokers what they smelled like. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I smelled like.
Yeah.
But I eventually went back to smoking, and but it got mainly the health. I don't want to get sick.
Of course, very important. And you said you tried other times and it lasted 2 weeks. So what else did you try? How were your past attempts?
The past attempts, the first attempt was the cold turkey.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to deal with the feelings that I was having and the withdrawals. I didn't understand how it worked and what was actually going through my head at the time. That I tried the second time I tried with the like a patch, the patches, and that didn't work obviously because I wasn't getting rid of the cravings for the nicotine.
Mhm.
And I'm stating all these things from what I learned from your program. That
It's amazing to hear it from you. And I'm sure like people, it's different when you hear it from someone who has quit smoking. They're celebrating their 1 year. So yes, please do share.
And then the other time I tried when the vape came out, I was trying the vaping, but I just couldn't get away from cigarettes to just vape. I ended up where I was doing both.
Mhm.
And so I just quit the vaping and was just stuck on the cigarettes. And then I seen your ad popped up through Facebook. I was just scrolling through Facebook and I seen your ad. And I was like, I'm going to check this out. And here I am now after running through your program. And
That's amazing.
I got kind of emotional.
Really?
It's a little weird.
What makes you
But,
emotional?
but yeah, starting your program and learning how you taught me what the nicotine was actually doing and what my mind was actually thinking and how to reverse my thinking of question. It's great. It was awesome.
Well,
I was
thank you for trusting the program. And I can imagine it's a journey and it's been a year. And you started, I imagine, with some doubts and hesitation. And will this work? Will this be different? But here you are.
one in the program. What helped me a lot was in the beginning was writing down. When my craving, what I was thinking, what would happen if I didn't smoke. And the more and more I got into the logging of it, what would happen turned a lot more to nothing. Nothing would happen if I didn't have this.
Yes.
And the one thing that was the turning point in your program that really clicked for me was the next thought, please. How to deal with the craving. And I was totally flipped and amazed on how that worked. I mean, I'd just say next thought, and oh wow, I forgot about it already.
Yes.
That was the turning
Mind
point.
is so powerful, right?
Yes, very.
I love that. So you tried cold turkey, you tried the patch, and what was different this time?
I think it's because it's different this time because I took your approach on teaching my mind, hey, no, you don't need this. This doesn't replace stress. It doesn't solve stress. It doesn't solve any physical situation whatsoever. And it was through your teaching, teaching my brain to start thinking, questioning it. Why are you smoking this? And then towards the end, on the 10 days, how he slowly decreased. By the end of the 10 days, I was barely, I wouldn't even finish 2 full cigarettes, and I would take a few and then I'd throw it out before I even finished it.
Really?
Because I was actually tasting. That's another one I had never really did, is I would take a hit, and normally when you're smoking, a smoker will hit and inhale it right away.
Yes.
Well, I started not inhaling and then actually tasting, and then oh my gosh, the horrible taste of what I was putting in. It just total different way to think about it, and it is on all how you think about it.
Exactly. Well said. It's all about how you think. And so how was your withdrawal this time? How did you experience it? What helped you?
I actually did not have any withdrawal symptoms because I went to your thought, how you taught me. I'm going to say, because you taught me how to do this, because I did. And when I would start to feel a little bit of oh man, I missed. No, I don't miss the nasty taste, the stink, because I laid out all the benefits and the cons, and there was no benefits for smoking when you actually wrote them down and looked at it. And that's how I really didn't have any withdrawals. And I gained only 5 pounds. And then that went away after, like you said, and the weight loss that after a month. And my biggest obstacle from quitting smoking was, what do I do now? What do I do with my time?
Right.
I actually realized how much time I wasted smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. What do I do?
So what did you do?
I picked up a couple hobbies. I picked up putting together model airplanes and model cars, and spent more time playing my guitar, learning my guitar finally on a better, and spending more time with my kids instead of off in the corners, smoking, because I wouldn't smoke around them. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did with my extra time now. And in the money I've saved, I kept an app going. I forgot I was going to check before we had this. But I think like a month ago I looked at it. I've saved over $7,000 of not smoking.
What?
For that year. Yep. I used to smoke 2 packs a day. I would smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
Amazing. Well, even bigger congratulations. That's I think you muted yourself. Yeah, got it. That's wonderful, and you saved so much money. That's incredible. Well done. And I also love that you haven't checked your app for a month. You haven't had the need to check it for a whole month until our call came up, which is great. It shows that life goes on and time passes nicely, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like I don't think about smoking at all, really. I'll have a craving pop up, like it was about 2 months ago, I had a pretty, oh man, I should, and it's like, what am I thinking? No, I don't. I just went back to your, okay. Ultimately, I used the next thought, please, and it
Yeah.
got rid of it.
Yeah.
But it was, no, you don't want that nasty taste. You don't want that back. And it, but other than that, yeah, I don't get cravings hardly. That was about 2 months ago. And now I just don't even, I actually can't even stand the smell of smoke now. I can't stand around people that are smoking. I walk away because I can't
Yeah.
stand the smell. It's the good thing.
Yeah, of course. And even when you had that craving, you immediately brought yourself back to the present moment, and you talk to yourself some sense basically, and say, oh, I don't want this. This is just a memory of something my past self used to do.
Yes. Another one of your tricks that two tricks that I used that you taught was I did the visualization while I was in the program. Every night I listened to that visualization video sound, and I visualized every night. And the thought of thinking of the worst taste you'd ever had in your, and then click your, that was kind of creepy, because when I did it the first time, it almost made me because just from clicking the fingers, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I used that quite often in the beginning, but I haven't had to do that since over a year ago. So
That's fantastic. And I'm sure your family as well is so proud of you. And I went through your emails before our call, and I remember that you had said that for the ritual of your last cigarette, you had like a freedom party.
yes, I did.
What happened? Can you tell me?
Yeah, I wrote my letter to cigarettes. I wrote my goodbye letter, and it was myself, my wife, my son, and my daughter, and I had a beer, and they had their drink, and we were just sitting around. I was like, all right, I didn't even smoke the whole cigarette. I only had a couple puffs as I was reading my letter to my cigarette. Um, it was emotional. We all cried,
Really?
and I threw my last half a pack of cigarettes on the ground, smushed them, and poured some of my beer on them, and then we all cheered, and I haven't touched a cigarette since.
Wow. And what a nice memory that you created as a family as well.
Yes, it was very important for me to have my wife and my kids there. It was, and because they were rooting for me the whole way. It was great.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, I'm really happy for you. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes, Gary. And so looking back, how has your life changed? How has your physical health, your mental health, what changes have you noticed? You mentioned that you saved all this money. What else changed?
Well, the physical part, I can run on my treadmill now, and not I can do a solid 30-minute heavy jog speed and not be out of breath. I couldn't even make 5 minutes before when I
Really?
smoked. Yeah, it was, I sleep better at night. My exercising, so I've gotten into better physical condition also. The weight stayed off. I've actually got some muscle gain from exercising, having the energy to exercise and the time. And this, I don't stink anymore. I know I've gotten multiple, not so much lately. It was in the beginning. I got many compliments from my people here at work where I work. I've been here for 17 years, so they're like part of my family too. And they notice that I don't, they told me in the beginning, wow, you don't stink no more. I was like, well, thank you for being honest.
But you must feel so proud when people notice and they give you these compliments, especially when you worked hard to get to this point.
Yes. Yep. It feels really good. It was even felt good too, because I let a couple of people in at work, because I told my people that I started the program, it's to let two people know. Well,
Yes.
one of them is our company owners. So I let them know, and they remembered my 1 year without me having to say anything. So
Wow.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely cool. So you pick the right people basically to share your
Yeah.
goal with. That's great. And what did quitting smoking teach you?
That when you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Yeah, because I there for the longest time, I was losing hope. I was like, man, I'm just stuck. I'm one of the ones that won't ever be able to give this up.
Okay.
And your program made me do that, and it was very, I, it was chance. I ran across your program. I've told multiple people about it. No, it's the site. I did this place, and I've sent them the links and sent them the links to quite a few people. I don't see them often because it's oddly enough the people. It was like people at the gas station where I'd stop every day and buy my 2-pack of cigarettes in the morning, and I'd come in and they're like, "Well, I don't need those no more. I quit." Well, how'd you do it? And and I went in and and they'd write it down. So hopefully I push some people your way so you can help them too.
Oh, of course, I'd love to. And thank you for recommending the program and really trusting the process. I'm really happy for you, and I'm really grateful that you came here to share your story. Gary, what advice would you have for someone who maybe smokes more than a pack a day? They have tried before. They don't think this is going to work. They think they've heard it all before. They feel discouraged. What would be your advice to them?
My advice would be, because I had all those doubts in the beginning when I first got your program, but I told myself, okay, I'm gonna follow your program step by step. As silly as some of the things sounded, I did them, and it works. It works. When you follow your recommendations and do the steps in the order you tell us to do them in, you see. I started seeing the changes after day 4. Day 4, I could start seeing the change myself in my mind, my thinking, because the program works. Follow it step by step. Do the little things. It makes a difference.
Yes.
And it only takes the 20 minutes a day of watching the 2 videos, doing the exercises, and then implementing the exercise through it works. 33 years, it works. 10 days, I was done. I never touched another cigarette since.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's you said exactly the recipe. Do it all. Follow it. Do your best. Even the things that seem like I don't want to be doing this. Try it. So I love that advice. This is absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Gary, thank you so much for sharing your experience with quitting smoking and what helped you the most. You are a very inspiring example, and I'm sure that what you shared will help many others in a meaningful and a practical way, because you share some great tips from the program. And if you're here watching this video, leave a comment below and let Gary and I know what you're taking away from his experience that can help you quit smoking and remain smoke-free. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.